Bienvenidos, everyone, to learn Spanish like I did. I'm Wesley, and I'm so excited to be here with my co-host Emilio to embark on a linguistic journey that's all about making Spanish practical, approachable, and, dare I say, fun.
Gracias, Wesley. It's great to be here. And absolutely, we want to make learning Spanish feel less like a chore and more like, a superpower. Imagine walking into a cafe in Madrid or Medellin and confidently ordering your coffee. That's what we're aiming for.
That's the dream, right? I mean, I've had those moments where I'm traveling and I just freeze up. I know the words are in there somewhere, but when it's go time, my mind just goes blank. Especially when I'm hungry, my Spanish brain just shuts down.
Oh, absolutely. The hunger-induced language barrier is a real phenomenon. But that's exactly why we're starting with one of the most practical and, let's be honest, most enjoyable situations: ordering food. Whether it's a quick coffee or a full meal, this is where a lot of people first try out their Spanish.
Okay, so let's set the scene. I've just walked into a bustling cafe in, say, Barcelona. I see the barista, and I want to order a coffee. What's the very first thing I should say? Like the absolute basics.
Great question. The absolute first thing is a greeting, of course. Hola, or buenos días if it's morning, buenas tardes for afternoon, buenas noches for evening. Then, to get their attention politely, you could say disculpe, excuse me. So, buenos días, disculpe, then you're ready to order.
Right, greetings. That always throws me off, because in English, sometimes you just walk up and say I'll have a coffee. But in Spanish, it feels more polite to start with a proper greeting.
Exactly. Politeness is key. It sets a good tone. Now, for the coffee itself. The simplest way to ask for something is quisiera, which means I would like, or me gustaría, which is also I would like sa. So, quisiera un café, por favor. Por favor is your best friend here.
Quisiera un café, por favor. I like that. It sounds elegant, you know? Less like I'm demanding coffee, and more like I'm politely requesting it. What if I want something specific, like a latte? Is there a direct translation?
For a latte, you'd usually ask for a café con leche. Leche is milk. Or if you're in Spain, you might hear café con leche or even just un latte because many places have adopted the term. If it's a stronger, smaller coffee, it's an espresso or café solo. For a black coffee, it's café americano.
Okay, so quisiera un café con leche, por favor. Got it. And then, once I've got my coffee and I want to pay, how do I ask for the bill? Because la cuenta, por favor, is the one I always remember, but sometimes I feel like I'm shouting it.
Haha, no shouting needed. You can just make eye contact and say la cuenta, por favor. You can also signal with your hands, making a writing gesture. Or, if you're at the counter, they'll usually tell you the price after you order. Son 5 euros, it's 5 euros. You respond with gracias, and if you want to say you're welcome, it's de nada.
De nada. That's a good one to keep handy. So, to recap our café scenario, buenos días tardes, disculpe. Quisiera un café con leche, por favor. Get my coffee, gracias. And when I'm leaving, maybe adios or hasta luego.
Perfect! You're already sounding like a local. Just remember, a smile goes a long way too. People appreciate the effort, even if your accent isn't perfect.
A smile and por favor, my two new travel companions. Alright, shifting gears a bit. What about directions? This is another big one for me, especially when my phone battery is dead or I'm trying to go off the beaten path.
Directions! Essential. Again, start with a polite greeting and disculpe. Then, you want to ask ¿Dónde está?, meaning where is. For example, disculpe, ¿dónde está la estación de tren, por favor? Excuse me, where is the train station, please?
¿Dónde está? Simple enough. But then, when they start rattling off instructions, that's where I get lost. All the turn left, turn right stuff.
I hear you. Let's break down those key directional phrases. Gire a la izquierda means turn left, gire a la derecha means turn right, siga recto or siga todo recto means go straight ahead. These are crucial.
Gire a la izquierda, gire a la derecha, siga recto. I'll try to visualize that in my head. Are there any common landmarks or phrases they might use that I should be aware of?
Definitely. They might say, está al lado de, meaning it's next to, or está enfrente de, meaning it's in front of, or está cerca de, meaning it's near, and if they point, that helps a lot too. You might hear aquí for here or allí for there.
Okay, so if someone tells me, giré a la derecha, y está al lado de la iglesia, I'd know to turn right and look for the church. That's actually really helpful. What if I don't understand? What's a polite way to ask them to repeat or slow down?
Excellent question, and very important. You can say, ¿Puede repetirlo, por favor? Can you repeat it, please? Or, ¿Puede hablar más despacio, por favor? Can you speak more slowly, please? Don't be shy about asking. Most people are very understanding and happy to help.
That takes a lot of pressure off, knowing I can ask them to slow down. I've always felt like I had to pretend I understood, then wander around confused. So, ¿puede repetir por favor? Or, ¿puede hablar más despacio? Got it. I'll practice that in front of the mirror.
Perfect! Confidence is key. The more you use these phrases, the more natural they'll become. And honestly, even a little bit of Spanish goes a long way in making connections and showing respect when you're traveling.
Speaking of connections, let's talk about meeting new people. This is probably the most nerve-wracking for me. The idea of small talk in a new language. Terrifying.
It can be, but it's also incredibly rewarding. Again, start with a greeting. Then, a common way to introduce yourself is me llamo, followed by your name. So, hola, me llamo Emilio. ¿Y tú?
Hi, my name is Emilio, and you? Okay, me llamo Wesley, mucho gusto. I think that's nice to meet you, right?
Exactly. Mucho gusto is perfect. You can also say encantado if you're male or encantada if you're female, which also means charmed or pleased to meet you. It's a lovely, polite expression.
Oh, encantado. That's a nice touch. And then what? What are some simple questions to keep the conversation going? Beyond how are you, I mean.
Right, beyond ¿cómo estás? You could ask ¿de dónde eres? Where are you from? Or ¿a qué te dedicas? What do you do? Which is a very common way to ask about someone's profession. Or if you're in a social setting, ¿estás disfrutando de la fiesta, el evento? Are you enjoying the party evento?
¿De dónde eres is a good one, very natural. And ¿a qué te dedicas is super useful. I often find myself wanting to ask that, but not knowing how. What if I want to offer to buy them a drink or something?
Ah, the universal gesture of friendship. You could say, te invito a una bebida. Can I invite you to a drink? Or, ¿quieres tomar algo? Do you want to drink something? And if they say yes, then you've successfully navigated a social interaction in Spanish.
That's empowering. Te invito a una bebida? I'm going to commit that to memory. It feels like such a natural next step in a conversation. And what about when it's time to say goodbye?
Simple. Adios is always fine. You can also say, hasta luego, see you later, or hasta pronto, see you soon. If you've had a good chat, fue un placer, it was a pleasure, is a nice way to end it, and a firm handshake or a cheek kiss, depending on the culture and situation.
Okay, so we've covered ordering food, asking for directions, and meeting new people. Those are like the holy trinity of everyday interactions. But what about shopping? I mean, I love to shop, and I don't want to miss out on any deals just because I can't ask a simple question.
Excellent point. Shopping is definitely a practical skill. When you're in a store, you might want to ask, ¿Cuánto cuesta? How much does it cost? This is your go-to phrase for prices.
¿Cuánto cuesta? I know that one, but what if I want to ask for a specific size or color? Like I'm looking for a shirt, and I need a different size.
Good question. You'd say, ¿Tiene esto en una talla más grande, más pequeña? Do you have this in a larger, smaller size? Más grande for larger, más pequeña for smaller. For color, you'd ask, ¿Tiene esto en color? Like, ¿Tiene esto en azul for blue?
Okay, so I can mix and match. ¿Tiene esto en una talla más grande? Is super useful. And if I want to try it on, is it probar?
Yes, probar is the verb to try. So you could ask, ¿Me lo puedo probar? Can I try it on? Or just, ¿Dónde están los probadores? Where are the changing rooms? Los probadores is the noun for changing rooms.
Los probadores. That's one of those words that feels like a puzzle when you first hear it. But it makes sense now. So, to recap shopping, ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Tiene esto en una talla más grande pequeña? And ¿dónde están los probadores?
Exactly! You're building up quite the functional vocabulary. And remember, the numbers are important here too. So practice your uno, dos, tres, cuatro, up to at least 20. That will help you understand prices.
Numbers, yes. My eternal nemesis. I always get diez and dos confused, but practice makes perfect, right? What about if something goes wrong? like I lose my wallet or I need help.
That's a vital one. For emergencies or just when you need help, ayuda is help. If you've lost something, you can say, he perdido mi cartera, I have lost my wallet, or he perdido mi pasaporte, for passport.
He perdido mi, followed by whatever I've lost. That's actually very clear. What if I need to explain a problem, but my Spanish isn't quite there? Like the food isn't what I ordered.
You can start with perdón, pero, excuse me, but, and then try to explain. Or, if it's simpler, just point and say, esto no es lo que pedí, this is not what I ordered. Or, hay un problema, there is a problem. People will usually get the gist, especially if you look a bit distressed.
The distressed look, that's my secret weapon. No, but seriously, esto no es lo que pedí is excellent. It's direct and gets straight to the point without needing a lot of complex grammar. I appreciate that.
And remember, gestures really help here. Pointing, shaking your head, a confused expression. Communication isn't just about words, it's about getting your message across by any means necessary when you're in a bind.
That's a relief, honestly. Sometimes I feel like I need to be fluent to even try. But knowing I can rely on a few key phrases and some good old nonverbal cues makes it feel less daunting. We've talked about a lot today, Emilio. From coffee to lost passports.
We have! And I hope our listeners are feeling a bit more confident. The main takeaway here is practice, practice, practice. Even just 5 minutes a day, repeating these phrases aloud can make a huge difference. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, that's how you learn.
Absolutely. My personal goal is to order a full meal without resorting to pointing at the menu. And maybe, just maybe, have a short conversation about the weather with a local. Baby steps, right?
Baby steps lead to big strides, Wesley. En qué tiempo hace is your phrase for what's the weather like, so you're already halfway there. For next time, we'll dive into travel scenarios like checking into hotels or navigating public transport.
Ooh, exciting. Public transport can be a maze in any language. So, listeners, if you've been nodding along, trying out these phrases, that's awesome. Keep practicing them. Write them down, say them in the shower.
Yes, embrace the shower concert, but with Spanish phrases. Seriously, the more you expose yourself to the language and try to use it, the faster you'll improve. And remember, we're here to help you unlock that potential.
That's a wrap for this episode of Learn Spanish Like I Did. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Wesley.
And I'm Emilio. Hasta la próxima, amigos. See you next time, friends.